Welcome to my channel, Steve the Window Cleaner. Today, I want to talk about why we use steel wool, white pads, and walnut pads in window cleaning, and where in the steps do we use them during the process of cleaning a window. Get a lot of questions about this, so I felt like it would be a good thing to go over. First, white pads versus walnut pads. That is them. That is it. These definitely come in larger sections, about 6x9s for each of them as far as 6x9 inches, but I find them quite similar. I do find that the walnut pad keeps its shape a little better longer than the white pads. The white pads after use can flatten out, but they're both quad zero as far as they will not scratch glass. They're non-abrasive, but really, really good for just basic cleaning where you just need to remove that extra grime on the window. But I will show you where in the process we use these. Also, quad zero steel wool. Very well known in the window cleaning industry. Really, really helps get dirty windows cleaned quick. And I'll also show you the way to use this. One way to use steel wool is that if you had something in the glass that just wasn't coming off and you want to use it dry, you can use it dry. You do want to be careful. Sometimes you'll just see that it makes a little scuff mark, but it's not scratches or anything. You'll have to re-clean the window, but it's not bad. Just never use this on tint. But literally, if you've cleaned your window and you have a small spot, and you just need to buff it out, you can buff it out with quad zero steel wool, kind of like a microfiber. But let's talk about how we're actually using it with our solution on the glass. So the step in what these all come in is after you have wet down your window, and let's say it's a really dirty residential window, you would take one of these. Let's do the walnut pad first. And you can fold it, you can cut it however small you want. I like to fold it, kind of create a nice little hand pad. And you basically just give the window an extra scrub. It's really good for getting into the corners where the dirt can just really sit there and be a little bit harder to lift off with just the sleeve. And this is usually done with cleans that aren't very normal or aren't very regular, or with restaurants or something where they get really dirty quick. When you scrub the glass like that, you see the way it changes the suds on the window, but it's really lifting off anything that's on there. And then squeegee off the solution. So next, white pad, very, very similar. This is really the only step in that you use them at. Or they can be also used for hard water removal with chemicals like Diamond Magic, BioClean, Unger Rub Off, stuff like that. White pad, very, very similar. Just going to do the same exact thing that a walnut pad is pretty much going to do. Just once again, they flatten out a little bit quick. Then you just squeegee off your solution. So usually these are used with residential cleans. Okay. Next, steel wool. Steel wool, you do want to be I think, a tiny bit careful on it. You don't need to put too much pressure, but it's quad zero, so it's not going to scratch at all. So basically, once again, scrub down our glass. So steel wool, after you wet the window, you can just use it like this, or you can unbound it a little bit and make it a little bit larger of a pad. Once again, just go in and scrub the glass. You'll really feel the difference though when using steel wool, I think, compared to white pads or walnut pads. And I do think it does a better, quicker job and really lifting off everything from the glass. I find with walnut pads or white pads that sometimes I need to go over the window a few times, but steel wool works well. But the one component about steel wool is this is only going to be good for about, I would say, 5 to 6 hours, and it's going to start rusting out. You don't want to use rusting steel wool on glass, okay? So that's where stuff like this, white pads or walnut pads, about around the same cost, but these are going to last a lot longer. I find a walnut pads at least last me 2 to 3 weeks. These usually about 1 to 2 weeks as far as when they just get to be kind of unusable. But once again, squeegee off your solution. And boom, that's it. But that's just the ways that walnut pads, white pads, and steel wool are really used, and that's about it. Apart from buffing out a tiny spot with dry steel wool, that's pretty much it with walnut pads or white pads. But if you have any questions, comment below.